We're doing it. So, this is our second podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
When did we do the last one? Was that like a month ago? Or was that 2?
Yeah, I want to say it was like at least a month or 2 months ago. That was fun. So,
hit that algorithm, man.
yeah, it was an easy decision to make it happen again.
Air quality is a little trash right now, but dude, it's...
Yeah, so this camera is hitting the reflection here, and so they're going to be able to see it's kind of just all white fog.
We're actually rolling with
good.
2 angles today. We got the GoPro, and then we got the iPhone, man.
And the iPhone.
Dude.
Yes, sir.
Got a good setup today.
Yep.
So,
we'll crack a beer. Cheers. I know.
Cheers. Yeah,
you got some water over there, but
I went a little rough last night, guys. So
yeah, my man got crazy last night doing some unspeakable things.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
One thing that's really been at the front of my mind.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking about when we were shooting pool, like this social anxiety.
Yeah.
Like this feeling of wanting to talk to people, but also not either having the energy or feeling anxious about it, or not knowing where to go with somebody. And I know that you were saying you've kind of experienced that since you moved out here, a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
And a part of that, I mean, I'm willing to talk about it. I feel like if you consume cannabis or smoke the old ganja,
smoke the devil's lettuce, man.
that can affect kind of communication. I noticed that in my own life. Do you ever feel like you notice that?
Dude, yeah, as I was telling you yesterday, it's pretty consistent with my social life. When I'm sparking up, and I feel good when I'm alone, but then time comes to a social setting where my boys are you guys hit me up and we want to do something, and then I've got that question to myself, am I really wanting to do this? Sober me would jump at this, but then the high me is a little afraid, got a little social anxiety, and honestly it's it's a fear.
Yeah.
And to get to the center of that, you're okay, you ask yourself, what is this? What am I really feeling?
Yeah.
And it's just in a sense, it's almost like stage fright, man.
Stage fright, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of is.
So I totally feel that day to day too.
Do you have any examples of recently, when that's happened to you? You were gonna do something and then decided not to because...
I mean, yeah, the other night, man.
Yeah.
Shit. I, had this whole plan because I had to take my car into the shop. Shout out Volkswagen, man. Shout out. They, I had probably 2 days worth of work done on it. So I come back, still having problems. I brought it back and, dealing with that in a business setting, a professional setting. I don't want to be high. I don't want to be all yeah, it's just not, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. So
yeah,
I come back, all right, I'm gonna go to the gym. I don't have nothing else to do. I don't have to meet anybody else. I don't have to socialize if I don't want to. So I spark up.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm just man, I'm really tired. And then, yeah, man, I just you lose track of what's important. And you just kind of get in this haze.
Yeah.
But some people, it's not like that. Some people can smoke and perform like a stallion.
Yeah.
But it's just not, I feel like the older you get, the more conscious you are about it.
Ooh, yeah.
What it affects.
How it affects you, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm very particular about when I'll do it and who I'll do it with. And am I in the right state to really do it is probably a good question to ask yourself. Yeah. Is this going to do something positive for me, or is this going to kind of...
Well, good question you asked me yesterday when we were playing pool, man, was what are the benefits? Truly, what are the real benefits?
Yeah, what are the benefits?
What really does it benefit you? People can argue, yeah, it helps my muscles, eases some shit, eases stress. Okay, yeah, I agree. But truly beneficially, what is it doing for you? Like when you wake up and is it still motivating you?
Yeah.
Does it motivate you?
Does it motivate me? So the benefit I get from it, if I'm taking an edible or doing THC, whatever you want to call it, I get the benefit of a new perspective on either the day I've already experienced or a situation that I'm going into. And I think that new perspective is pretty valuable because, and then sometimes it'll give me anxiety and I'll notice that. Why is that? Why is it causing me anxiety?
Right.
Or what is affecting me? But the just surface level benefits I get from it is enhanced creativity, new perspective. I feel I'm more in tune with my emotions. I feel more. I feel like sometimes I'm always thinking, and it helps me feel more. It just, I think, is pretty valuable.
So, in a way, you're saying it helps you feel more emotional?
Yeah, more feelings, for sure. But the downside to it, there are downsides.
Some downsides.
Increased anxiety, social anxiety. I'll just be up here, and sometimes I'll see a big group of people down at the hot tub, and I'm just man, I can't think of anything worse than going down there and being around that many people.
Being stuck in that.
Yeah, being trapped. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I feel like that's a pretty common side effect for a lot of people. So when we talk about this, I feel like shout out you people out there that relate.
Yeah.
It's definitely relatable. Do you feel like you have more pros, or do you feel like it kind of weighs out pretty evenly?
There's a lot of utility to it for sure. I did a detox for 3 months this year from March. Remember when we first started hanging out? I was I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, you weren't smoking.
So I did that, and I thought it would be a good thing for me. Blocking out these things would make me feel happier, healthier, more focused.
Right.
And I actually felt more stressed and more anxious without them, which might be a big problem.
Huh.
But it was actually pretty. I remember in June when the detox ended and I had smoked for the first time.
Yeah.
I remember feeling very hopeful and energized and grateful, and I'm why has this feeling been so hard to, why has that been so absent without it? And I'm trying to find that healthy balance because I think everything needs moderation. I mean, I don't think you should do it all day every day.
Yeah.
And I don't think never doing it is the right option either. So I'm somewhere in the middle, and I try and figure out that balance. What about you? Do you feel like you have a healthy relationship with it?
I feel man. I feel when I don't, though, it really weighs on me. I mean, I feel like it's just more of that self-conscious, fright that you have with social anxiety. So it really, that's my only really downfall to it. But yeah, I really agree with your using in moderation,
If I am deciding to smoke, the whole day is different. It's a clear line in the day of it was one way up until this point, and now things are different. And do you feel like it limits you on what you can do?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, like we say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So when you are high and you're might just hold off on that, and you were talking, the hot tub, right?
Yeah.
It's full. Your worst nightmare would have been to actually go down there and have to socialize. But little do you know, maybe it could change your life. Maybe you meet someone down there in videography, or podcasting, it's really random. And I think about that. I kind of rabbit hole sometimes, am I missing opportunities because I'm high?
Ooh.
Or because I'm getting too high?
Yeah.
Because what is really getting high? It's a sort of self-relief to distract yourself. In a sort
kind of selfish.
Yeah. So, some people don't really see it that way. Some people see it as a drug, and you know, but in all reality, man, I feel like it really does slow you down.
Yeah. Well, it's self-serving.
Yeah.
And like if you're bored and alone, that's like kind of a all right thing because it's going to make that boredom and loneliness better and more fun and like
Yeah.
for the time being. But on the grand scheme of like your life, like you have to go out and meet new people.
Yeah.
You have to socialize. And like from your perspective, like you just moved here and I could definitely see how, you know, smoking too much or indulging too much could prevent you from getting out there and seeing Colorado and meeting new people and,
Yeah.
you know, starting new friendships. I know it's like you don't really know anybody here. And it's like that's a big natural motivation when you move somewhere is to go out and meet people.
Yeah. And when you're constantly just smoking pot all day, you're not wanting to feel that motivation. And that's what kind of brought me back to that point is like, now that I've met more people, I have more activities to do. You know, I've been busier a little bit. Recently applying for some bigger boy jobs. And like, it seems like the more I can physically distract myself and actually be healthy and achieve goals, the less I actually even think about pot or really smoke it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel that I'm really learning, like what you said, a healthy balance between it.
Yeah. I think it's good to realize there is a balance. And I think it's good to almost go too far sometimes and realize where the boundary is and like, okay, this is too much. Yeah. Because that's how you find that in between, you know.
Yeah. It's exactly like that saying, like sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to see clarity.
Yeah. So. That's true, man. Yeah, for me, so one thing when I smoke, like I really dislike talking on the phone. I really dislike talking on the phone in general. Like, I don't know what it is. Let me try and actually explain why I don't like talking on the phone. I always feel like there's like a lag and like and like understanding a lag and like they can't hear me. I can't express myself as well. And I think it's probably in my head. It's probably a me thing, but something about talking on the phone, it's pretty like draining to me by myself. And then if I've smoked that day, the idea of talking on the phone is really like
dread it, man.
Dread is the right word. Yeah. And so that bothers me. I don't like that aspect about it. Because I want to be accessible. I want to always be able to like be a phone call away. But if I'm doing that, then I know that I'm a lot more likely to be reclusive and not call somebody and not answer the phone if it rings or, you know, not reply to a text. So I think that's a downside to it. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I was a person where I could, you know, indulge in that and then it would like help me as a social person. Like I just became a social butterfly, you know, free spirit. But I'm more, you know, I don't know. I feel like that if I'm alone. Yeah. I feel like a free spirit if I'm alone. But if I have to think about going out into the world and interacting with people, I'm like, that doesn't sound like fun, or that doesn't sound like something I can do. So that's a problem.
I know we've talked about this, but it sounds like you really enjoy your space. Like your alone time. Your Alec time.
I'm a loner, dude. Do you like being alone or being around people more?
There's times, comes and goes. Sometimes at night, it's really lonely, you know? So it's like, if I were to ever say a time where it's like, I feel a little, it'd probably be at night where it's like, you know, I'd like to have a partner that's always there. Like, so, but it's kind of crazy because like the less you put interest into a girl or partner, whatever your thing is, whatever you're after, seems like the less you focus on it, the more it comes into your life. And the more signs, the more it gets heavier and heavier. Like when you're truly trying to focus on A and you were always obsessing about B or whatever, when you just focus on A, B starts to naturally just show up.
Yeah.
Metaphorically speaking. So it's just like...
It's true. It's like
I've noticed that in my life, man. Like I quit, you know, constantly trying to go out and hit the bars and the clubs and parties, and I sit back and then, you know, I'm making new friends out in Denver, and then they're inviting me to all these things, and sometimes it's like, man, I've never said no a lot, and now I'm having to start saying no, so it's like I'm learning to say, like, saying no's okay to your friends. Like, you know, it's not, you don't have to show up to every get together, every party.
Yeah.
And, like,
Do you feel like you were doing that before?
Yeah,
Just saying
well,
yes to everything?
I struggled, man. Like, I used to, like, not have a lot of friends, so it was like any chance I'd get, I'd jump to it. I'd want to be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now it's like I'm putting together a life I never thought I would have, and it's just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like it naturally comes in, man. And I never thought I'd have such great friends. So, you know, shout out Jay, Alec, Shug,
ASAP Shug.
ASAP Shug. But seriously, like, you know, I never even thought about it. At one point, I was getting kicked out of my condo in Kansas, and then the only time I could think, like, man, like, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? Not once did I think I'd be out on my buddy's balcony starting up, you know, pods, man. Like,
In the pods.
yeah, I've always dreamed about being on stuff like that. So the fact that we met and connected so well and the energy was there,
Yeah,
it says something. And it says something about you, and it says something about me.
Yeah, bro, we're friends.
Dude, we're homies.
We are straight homies. Yeah, dude, I'm like really grateful for our friendship, for real,
Dude.
because I don't know. I feel like when we talk, like even outside the podcast, like if we turn all this off, like when we hang out, I feel like I can actually like tell you like deeper things, and you're gonna understand it. You know, it's not just like a surface level, like, oh, let's go do this. It's like I want you to really know like who I am, and like sometimes I've told you stuff where it's like it might seem kind of like I'm being hard. Like remember when we first started hanging out, and I was like, hey, like, just so you know, I do better as a friend if you, like, give me a couple days notice if you want to do something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really, like, drop everything, spontaneous.
Last minute, let's do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember that.
And I remember telling you that, and I remember thinking, like, if I'm being a good friend to Van, he should know this about how I am when I want to hang out, so that we can, you know, so that you don't do something that, like, upsets me, which would be, like, calling me, hey, let's go here now. Like, no, like, that's not how I go. Yeah. So I remember when I told you that, I was like, I hope he doesn't think I'm being like a dick right now, you know? And then I noticed a couple days later, I saw you on the balcony, and you were like, hey, I was thinking like maybe on Monday we go like throw disc. Yeah. And I was like, bro, yes, thank you. Because you like heard what I said, and you're like, oh, he wants me to give him a heads up. And then you did. I'm like, that's great. Like, that's really cool. I don't really know where I was going with that, but we're homies. We're friends.
Yes. I mean, a big part of it, like, I feel like the moral of it is like respect. Like, I tell you one thing,
yeah, respect.
You tell me one thing, and we both respect it. And I felt you've been straightforward, and maybe it's come off a little bit more straight, a little bit more black and white than
just assertive, kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that's part of a friendship. You know, being like, hey,
here's where I stand. We are in a little bit different stages. When you get older, you kind of have to set some boundaries with people. And I feel like that's a healthy thing to do, and like a necessary thing to do. But you're like 21, so it's like you probably don't think about it like that. You kind of haven't really probably thought about it.
Put it into perspective.
Yeah. So we're doing the pod right now. We're really out on the balcony doing it.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I love this weather, man. It's beautiful. It's so sad that we have like this poor air quality right now and all these crazy things going on. But it's
crazy things.
The weather's still there, right? Like, it's a little hot, but
are you talking about politics, crazy things?
I'm just talking in general, man. The world, the weather, people.
Yeah, the world, the weather, and people, bro.
Restaurants. I mean, everything. Dude, all this stuff. Like, man, I heard Zen's building a $600 million place out in...
What?
Yeah.
They're building a Zen castle?
They're building a little Zen building out in Denver.
What?
Because of the demand so high for Zen.
Dude, the Zens really had a grip on me there for a while.
I was about to say, weren't you you were a supporter of that?
Yeah, I was giving them like $8 a week for what? I don't know. They had me in a chokehold, and I had to break away.
Yeah, you still zenning it up, or?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'll never have another Zen, but I'm definitely not buying a can as soon as they're gone type thing. I really like, nicotine by itself isn't bad. Now, if you're smoking cigarettes to get nicotine, that's a problem. The Zyn, we're not fully sure on how dangerous they are or what the health implications are because they're so new. But apparently it is a healthier way to get nicotine, and nicotine's not the worst thing for your body in moderation.
I agree. With moderation, it's not bad.
Now, if you're popping a Zyn every 15 minutes because, every hour, then that's a problem because you're just messing up, like, your dopamine. Like, you're getting, like, immune to the good effect it's supposed to give. So I like a Zyn if it's a long drive. If I'm getting in the car for more than 2-3 hours, I'm probably going to grab some Zyn.
Yeah.
But I don't need it, like, throughout the day, I shouldn't be waking up and realizing, like...
Where's my Zyn?
Yeah, checking my gum, like, why isn't there a Zyn in my mouth? Like, that's a problem.
Waking up with the Zyn in.
No. Dude, when we played football in high school, we used to have guys that would put in, like, a giant, like, lip of tobacco.
Dude.
And they'd fall asleep on the bus, like... slumped over it, like drooling out of their mouth.
Dude, that's so good. That's so gross.
Yeah, like right before
drinking that shit.
Yeah, right before a football game too. It's like, dude, I doing Gatorade right now.
I remember in middle school, man. Like, it was 8th grade, and all these vapes, like the stick vapes with like all the e-juice, were big and all that shit. And
wait, you were in 8th grade when like Juul came out?
No. This was like. Well, I think Juul was out, yeah, but I'm talking like the stick vapes, like the little screw-on batteries, like the little cheap ones that you fill with e-juice.
Yeah.
Man, we were going through those, and then this guy, his name's Sam.
Shout out Sam.
Bro.
Shout out Sammy boy.
Dude, he was like, man, I got this Copenhagen. Like, all I remember it just being a green can, and it's mint. So I'm like, all right. Doesn't sound too bad. So he's like, he opens the can, and I remember picking out a little chunk. I threw it in, and keep in mind, little 8th grade me, never done this before, and I'm hanging out with like a 9th grader or a 10th grader.
Bro, you were like 12.
Yeah, man, but they thought it was so funny to load me up with like this shit, and they were like, yeah, dude, just chew it. I'm like, all right, so I'm chewing it.
You're eating it.
Yeah.
And it was it long cut?
Was it Copenhagen, yeah.
Ooh, so it was long cut. So you like get a packet in type
thing.
It
was so bad, man. I remember swallowing that and not even like, dude, I wouldn't even say 10 minutes later, I'm on the ground like sweating, like, oh, dude, I felt like I felt death.
You were on the ground? Dang.
Yeah, I didn't want to move. I was crying.
Yeah, in 8th grade, that's a little intense.
Yeah, man. And these kids thought it was hilarious. And
they did.
Yeah, at least say. I don't hang out with that group no more.
Dude, back in Kentucky, it was very common, like, to be doing chaw. They would say it's chaw 30 or something. Chaw 30, yeah. And then we would have guys that would do it in, like, class in high school. And they would, like, swallow the dip spit. They wouldn't spit it out. They would, like, just swallow it. Oh, my gosh. It always made me sick thinking about it. But, yeah, it was, like, a big thing in high school. That's kind of when I first tried it on the football team.
Yeah, were you a fan were you in love at first sight, or?
No, my first experience was pretty much like yours, actually. This is sad, but I remember being, like, a junior. I remember I could drive, and I was, well... I think I was a senior because I was 18. I remember being like old enough to buy it and I could drive. And I bought like my first like can.
Big bad boy. Man.
Dude, it was terrible. I think I went home like to my mom and dad's house and like went in my room, like shut the door and like opened it, put one in. And I just was like, I feel like terrible right now. What am I doing to myself? I think I threw the whole thing away and then just never did it again.
But he was cooked.
Yep. Yeah, we're talking about the real issues.
Yeah, real
if you're
life.
In your 20s.
Man. Yeah, 20s.
How's your relationship to drugs and alcohol?
I'd say some 30s too. People early 30s.
True. Yeah. But I think it's hard for people in their 20s to like balance out how much fun should you have, like how much should you indulge in like in these things. I mean, the same thing could be said for like food or your diet. Like how much should you indulge in like buying fast food? Like, you kind of got to find the balance when you're in your 20s.
Would you say you're a glut when it comes to food?
No, I don't. I don't really think I'm like a foodie. I don't really have much appetite. I view it as like something like that has to be done. Like, I have to eat today. I gotta get.
Dude, I've gotta eat. Fuck.
Yeah, I've got to fill my body with something. Are you a glut when it comes to food? You like to eat out a lot, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, dude, I don't have anyone to cook for, but, like, sometimes I love, this is going to sound crazy, but, man, I cook for my dog. Like,
Yeah.
I feed my dog organic ground beef.
Oh, snap.
Like, I'll get him one of those, like, 4-packs at Target or something like that. We'll split it. I'll get 2. He gets 2. I take... Tank's pretty well invested, man. He's really
Tank's eating
tough.
good
I
over
take care
there.
of him, but I'm really big on a tropical smoothie lately.
Mm.
Dude, that island green's pretty good. But, yeah, man, you catch me at McDonald's sometimes, here and there.
Mickey D's.
Yeah, dude, good old
Slide
reliable.
Slide through.
Yeah.
Dude,
know?
their ice cream machine's always down at McDonald's.
So you're an ice cream man. I'm a chocolate shake, dude.
I'm like a McFlurry, and they're always like, our ice cream machine's not working.
Yeah. Kind of feel like that's pretty common, dude. Same with Freddy's. I try and get ice cream there sometimes, and it's like, dude, I love Freddy fries. Freddy
good.
fries are pretty good.
Freddy fries are pretty fire.
Especially when you're pretty teed up.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. Did you have any questions? I know you said that you were like plotting some grand questions.
Oh!
I don't know. We kind of we dove right into the podcast. I kind of like doing it that way.
Yeah. I feel like
Like,
it rolls more naturally that way.
It does. Yeah. I'm finding a balance too with that too, though. Like, how much should I prepare for a podcast versus how much should I just go in, freestyling it? It's a balance, dude, because you don't want to have it too thought out and rigid, but you also don't want to go in with no purpose, because then you're just like
empty-handed. Because then you're both just sitting there like,
yeah.
oh yeah, and then it's just hella quiet. No one's talking.
Well, with two people, it's easier because both of us are thinking at the same time. One of us is going to have something to say. But when you're alone, you really have to find, like...
Oh, you got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Rapid.
Have you been keeping up with any of the podcasts I've been putting out? Did you ever see the videos or the new playlist stuff I'm doing?
I watched your music video.
Yeah, that was like a month ago.
Yeah, I'm not, bro. No,
Dude, I'm putting them out
here, bro. Bad friend over
No,
here,
you're good.
man.
I am uploading them like pretty frequently, so I don't imagine like people are watching everything that I'm putting out.
Yeah, I mean, I see them on your stories.
Yeah.
I like them, but I haven't like actually been diving in. I've really been like pretty busy with these jobs, man. Like constantly emails. Tomorrow, like I'm probably gonna be taking all day to file my federal employment
Oh my
to
gosh.
get my medical badge to start become an agricultural grower and trimmer.
It sounds serious.
It's like, I don't know. It's
Is
a
it
career plan. You get like
Yeah.
benefits, you get health insurance, and like, it's almost 6 figures.
Yeah, dude. Last couple times we've hung out, it seems like you're talking to me about like these like things, these jobs, these careers that you want to pursue. Have you narrowed in on anything, or
I need to save up about another 6 to 8 grand, and then I'll be safe to start getting my pilot's license, my private pilot's license. That's the ultimate goal. I kind of want to be actually like flying.
the GoPro
Looks like
just
we just
died?
lost the GoPro.
I want to check the iPhone. Make sure. Oh, we're going strong. That's fine. Yeah, we'll figure out how to factor it in. Fix it in post. What were you saying?
Dude, yeah, anyways, the ultimate goal, man, is to by at least 30, I want to be having a clientele and become a private pilot. So, dude, I could literally be flying to fucking Hawaii and stay there for 2 days, waiting on my client, flying back. Dude, made 30, 40 grand.
That would be really sick.
And then, I work off my own schedule, or sometimes I work on call with my clients. Like, I'll be actually on call, so whenever they call me up, hey, A, B, and C, I need Jet 700C started up and ready by 3 a.m. And I'm like, all right, cool, I can do that. Where are we going? shit, I might not even ask questions.
That'd
I'm
be
just like,
sick.
let's
Yeah.
get up there in the air.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
That is a really cool like career path.
yeah. But my uncle does it. Shout out my uncle. His name's Brian. He's a doctor.
Shout out, Brian.
He's a doctor and a pilot, and he's pretty like stand-up guy, man. Like I really look up to him.
Doctor and a pilot?
Yeah, dude. He just now got his pilot stuff this year, so he's been training and like practicing for I think the last 8 months. But yeah, every time you go up in the air, it costs money because you got to pay for your lessons, and then you got to test, get your license, get a base together, or get hired on a contract with somebody. But yeah, I think I'll do the agricultural grower and trimmer until I've got enough saved up, and then I'll work my way into becoming that pilot, man.
Growing and trimming.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Trimming shrubs,
A
weed,
pot. Yeah,
pod.
in
Okay.
Colorado, man. It's
Yeah.
a big, it's pretty high demand.
Dude, yeah.
30.
It's a big industry out here. You could definitely, I could see walking into a dispensary and seeing you like, hey,
Hey, man, what
bobbing
you
out of the
need?
corner.
But dude, no,
But being an actual grower would be like sick because it's like
Yeah.
hands on. You're like you're kind of talking to plants all day type thing.
So I wouldn't be at the dispensary. I'd be at a warehouse or I'd be at a farm, and I'd either I'd manage it, because I've had one actual management job, and that was at the country club. That was really cool. I really liked that job. But yeah, I'd either be a manager, a site manager, or I'd become like a oversight, grower and trimmer. So I'd just I'd have a section of probably like 3 to 4 rows. Those would be my babies. I'd be taking care of them, checking the pH, making sure everything's going right and everything's growing proper.
That's sick.
Buds are looking pretty to give to you folks out there.
I almost wish that I didn't have a job and I could like kind of start fresh.
It's a good question. What would you do, man, if you had to start all over right now?
If I could start all over, man, I would look into something like outside, like being like a tour guide almost. Like leading people outside, explaining, having
That's a good one.
Yeah, having like specialized knowledge and being like, welcome, walking backwards, like over here. I think that'd be really fun and fulfilling, but I feel like it'd be a seasonal thing almost. Or even something like hands-on, like building, like for the Parks and Rec out here, like having different projects and parks that you go to and you're like, okay, we're going to renovate this park, and being like on the ground and like doing like, as weird as it might sound, like manual labor, like out in the heat and like really earning my pay, and like, I don't know, I could just see myself in a different life, like getting
Down and dirty.
Yeah, getting off work at 5:30. I got dirt in my fingernails.
Grease
Sweating
ball.
all day. I got like a buzz cut, and I'm like getting into my Silverado, and I like, throw in a chaw, and I drive home, and I like sit outside and drink a beer, and I have like a
Drink a
Grizzly.
Bush Light.
Yeah, just like that kind of rough living, like really earning, my time off type thing. Like, I don't know, maybe in a different life, that's me. But
Live paycheck to paycheck. Grunge
yeah,
on
just
construction.
wake up and, you got a 12-hour day out in the heat in front of you. You got to
Dude.
earn your dollar. Well, shoot, bro. Let's, any other things you wanted to get out into the world before we wrap this pod up?
Ooh, one last thing out in the world.
Any other thoughts from Van?
Dude. Shugs and I went on a dirt bike adventure, dude. And I got stranded, bro. My bike.
Oh,
dude.
snap,
I
dude.
fouled the plug.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Our buddy Jay.
Shout out Jay Franco.
Ooh.
Francolations.
Francolations,
We're
dude.
spitting wisdom on the gram.
He's in New York right now. Shout out New York. But anyways, we went out to the Air Force Base. And yeah, my buddy Calvin and I, we rented a U-Haul, a van to load our dirt bikes in the back, and we get out there and
Wait, so y'all already had the U-Haul before you went?
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we rented
That's
the
new.
U-Haul.
That's news.
We came back here, picked up our bikes, loaded them up. We loaded Calvin's bike out of his garage. We loaded my bike out of my garage. And then we were like gonna hit the road. We get out there, things are going good, dude. We're out there for a solid 3 hours, and we make a
Grinding.
round back to the van. fill up on fuel, eat a little bit. We're like, all right, let's go one more time. We should not have gone one more time. One more time turned into like 3.5 hour excursion, dude. It was so bad. And we get like 4.5 miles out into the middle of like Monument, I believe is what it's called, Monument up north.
Yep.
And dude, my bike just stopped working. It was in the middle of third gear and it just died out. And we're just on the middle. We're literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm kicking it. It's not starting. And I knew I fouled the plug because like everything else mechanically is fine because I just had it tuned. We looked at a map. We didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Calvin didn't know what to do. We're like 3.5 hour walk from the van. And I'm not pushing my bike 3.5 hours. Like, so I just roll it down the hill and I push in some shrub and I don't know what we're gonna do. And I start walking and dude, it's a long walk. And I think Calvin like realized that because when he pulled up next to me, it's like, bro, are you sure? And I'm like, I mean, matter of fact, bro, you think you could give me a ride? Like this is gonna suck. And I get on the back, and I guess Calvin's never ridden with someone on the back, or at least like that far.
Wait, your bike was on his?
No, my bike, I just pushed it down a hill and left it in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because dude, we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, I can't just pedal uphill, downhill. There's rock quarries. Like, you're not pushing a bike. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So he gave me a ride all the way back, dude, all the way back. We loaded his truck, or we loaded his dirt bike up. Long story straight, we spent probably the next 2 hours trying to retrieve my bike. And we had to turn around on the highway like twice because I kept missing the exit. Calvin's like, bro.
Calvin's sweating bullets.
Yeah, he's like, I'm ready to go home, man.
Yeah.
And, dude, so yeah, we pull off on the side of the highway, man. Keep in mind, the highway's just, bro, it's terrifying. I pull off and I'm like, all right, like checking my maps, like, where is this damn thing? And I run off in the woods. I find it. I push it all the way to the highway. We're on the side of the highway trying to load a dirt bike in the back of a U-Haul. And it's just like, it was a day, man.
Yeah.
It was a day.
Yeah, I think us three were supposed to do something. I remember.
Yeah, we were all supposed to hang out. Sorry, man.
Yeah. No, you're good. I remember I was up here recording a video and you drove by with the U-Haul.
I saw you. I was like, yo, hi.
That's funny. I'm actually about to put out that video probably like tomorrow.
Ooh.
It's one of the quiet ones, the quiet time, just like
with the
zoning
nature.
out. Yeah, zoning
Just
out.
the sounds.
Yeah. Well, that story's crazy. So, did you guys get? I mean, obviously, you got the bike back.
Yeah, everything's good. Retrieved.
Yeah.
Everything got brought back. And
how's the bike? I'm pretty sure you said like it's time to scrap it or it's just.
yeah,
dead.
I think I'm just ready to get rid of it, man. I'm ready for something new.
Yeah.
A little bit more power too, and more reliable. 'Cause lately, I've been pouring quite a bit more money than I'd like to into the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd just rather get a Honda 450 or maybe another Yamaha, like a 2018, 2019.
You think you'll get another bike?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Ever since I learned how to ride, I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet now that you don't have a bike, you're like, dang, I wish I could go ride right now.
Yeah. I'm not in any rush because I know, like, all I got to do is change the spark on it and she'll run. Any thoughts or questions from Z-Fo?
No, we're good, man. We go ahead and put a bow on this one, dude.
Sick.
I appreciate you coming on the keys.
Hell yeah.
Yup.
Honored.
Van guest pod.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next pod.
Yep.